right, so we reviewed a checklist about due dates, about which forms are needed. We've looked at some tips on how we can better track and consider income as well as expenses. Now the big question is, I've got all this here, who's going to prepare the taxes? And there are a variety of ways you can go about that. One of which is, of course, have and hire a tax professional to do the taxes. Another option is to do the taxes yourself. And here are some good business points to consider as you're making that decision. One, of course, is cost, financial cost, as well as time cost. The average cost for a small business tax return to be prepared is $727. That's a big number for small businesses. That's a big number for a business like ours, and I'm sure many on the line. Note that that is an average cost. So it could be in the lines of $150 all the way up to $1,500, or if it's really complicated, involves property, has a lot of special deductions, it could be in the thousands. It really depends upon the size of the business, the complexity of the transactions, and what type of business that we have. That's an average to give you the reminder that if we are going to hire someone to help us prepare the taxes, there is going to be some sort of cost with that. Of course, if we do it ourselves, there is still a cost, certainly in terms of time. The average amount of time a small business owner spends doing their taxes is 13 hours. And that figure does not include the time it takes to gather the information. That is the average amount of time it takes to actually put the information together and putting it in an IRS approved form. So it can add up in terms of time. Another point, if we choose to go with a tax professional, or we're considering that, is that most business experts advise that having a business tax return prepared by a tax professional is the way to go. Most business experts say we can avoid many headaches, we can reduce stress, we can more likely take advantage of current tax strategies if we use a tax preparation expert. And in particularly, if we're dealing with a tax problem of any kind, personally or business-wise throughout the year, if we've had an interaction with the IRS, it is strongly advised that we use a tax professional for that particular year to report our taxes and consider what that issue throughout the year was you were dealing with. An interesting research note I found is that the odds of being audited actually increase for small businesses that do not involve or use a tax professional to prepare taxes. In fact, a whopping 60% of the do-it-yourself business tax returns are noted to be incorrect. That is a lot higher than I thought it would be. I do advise my clients to use a tax professional for all the reasons stated earlier. I think it is worth the money to reduce the stress and save the time, but especially in light of recent statistics that let us know that over 60% of the tax returns done by business owners themselves are incorrect. Lets us know what sorts of things the IRS may be looking deeper into. As I said, these are some points to consider when thinking about doing the returns yourself or considering having a tax professional do the taxes for you. Now, if we're going to do it ourselves, go it alone, there are many, and I found an outstanding article, which up next you'll see the link for. There are many tax software programs out there for small businesses. And this is an article by a reputable accounting source that looked at the top 5 and described each one, gave us why they were rated the way they are, and also if you follow the link out, you can read much more detail about the pros and cons of each of these tax software programs, as well as the average cost for each of these do-it-yourself tax preparation programs. I'd like to open it up to the group and know if any of you have prepared your own taxes, yes or no. And I would also be curious if any of you are familiar with tax software programs that are not on this list, because this certainly is not exhaustive. It just happens to be by a reputable accounting journal what is considered the top tax software. We do have a couple yeses out there. For yes, I've prepared my own taxes. Yes, I've hired a CPA in the first year and I continue to do so. I don't own my own business. I don't do my own since owning my own business. Okay, I use RBH as an accounting firm. TurboTax, that is a common one. Using a CPA. Find it's important to use a CPA to fully understand taxes. I completely agree. And I advise that if you're a new business and you are choosing a CPA, that you make sure that it is a CPA who does taxes and that they do taxes for businesses on a regular basis, because there certainly is an art to it and certainly a science to it, keeping up with all the changes and regulations.
For helpful places.
Thank you for watching our video. If you would like to speak with a business advisor at no cost to you, please feel free to reach out. We're the Small Business Development Center at Blue Mountain Community College. Please attend one of our workshops, either virtually or in person, or just give us a call. Thank you.